Hi, Taurus. This is Carrie at wooingnature.life. I hope you're doing well. This is your reading for June. We're going to see where we are, where we're going, what's going on with the career, what's going on internally with our emotional selves. We're also going to pull a few animal cards, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to be reading from the Sibyl's Oraculum. This is a really interesting and different divination system. It is a 44 card system based on the teachings of African oracles. So really interesting system, and I'm going to look at that because it gives you sort of a core fundamental value issue thing going on. It also looks at where there may be some hiccups to your thinking or glitches or just things that may be causing you not to be able to fully realize. And then the last two cards in the 4 card reading, and I know I'm getting a little in depth, but I'll get to it later. Give you some directives, things that you can do internally and externally to help move you along. And then I'm going to be reading from Deborah Koff Chapin's soul cards. These are soul cards. She has soul cards and she has soul cards too. These are purely intuitive and artistic, and I love this deck. I'll probably do an art of the deck on this one. As I'm talking about it, I feel like that's what's happening there. And then, like I said, we're going to do some animals, and then we're going to read from the Steampunk Tarot. So I'll get started with the Sibyls first so we can kind of get some keywords, key concepts, key focal points, etc., around us. Again, this is a 44 card system, so there's 4 decks, or there's an entire deck, but it's separated into 4 sections. Each section has 11 cards, so we're just pulling from one from each section. All right. So right off the bat on here, we have limitation, and I'm going to be reading these entirely intuitively because there is a whole nother part of this system that involves a book and a text and a going through each layer. It's layer upon layer. So if you want to get a Sibyl's reading, personal reading from me, you can, but for the purposes of this, it would take a really long time. So I'm just going to pull from these. So the first card up is limitation, okay? You sort of feel like a dog on a leash, or you feel like you are being led along, but you feel restrained in some way, or you're feeling some level of restraint. And in association with that, we have contentment. So that's an interesting juxtaposition there, because when we think about contentment, we don't usually think about restraint. You know, our perception is that if we are content, then we are not restrained. But restraint is a part of life, actually, and it's actually a part of contentment. And we can go a little bit deeper into that with the Kabbalah, actually, but there is an aspect of living where restraint is required in order to be able to achieve some levels of contentment. And that, again, that's just something that, we could argue about that. I'm sure there's people that want to argue that point, but that's what I'm getting from this, is that you've got to look at limitations, where you have limitations, where the limitations exist, and what the limitations are doing for you. Without that limitation, without that restraint, what would happen? And in many cases, you'll know what would happen because you've had the experience of not having the restraint. Okay? So we're thinking about issues around freedom, not feeling free enough, wanting to free up. And then there's that thing that keeps you from being freed up. And then you have to look at how to untether yourself from that thing in order to find the true commitment. It is a doorway. It is it's some steps to it. You can see the steps right here, which to me implies that there are steps that have to be taken before you can get to some level of contentment for yourself. This is your play. This is your stage, your life. Okay? It's your stage. So what characters are there? Who's on the stage with you? You know, where's the light gonna come from? What's the plot? As the plot thickens, what happens? You know, what's going to be the climax? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? We can go there. So, but it's yours. You're directing it. You know, life isn't just happening. These are choices that you are making. And so this is good. You know, this is really a good lesson. So this is June. This is something for you to deal with, journal about. You can journal about that. Pay attention to it though, especially if you feel like you're not free. Oh, I'm not free. I need to free up. I need to free up. That's a key word. If you find yourself saying that, or I just need my freedom, or I got to get out of here. I just feel like I need to go. All of that is going to bring up that. But the main thing is, what is it? What is it? All right. All right. So, 2 more cards here. These are the 2 action cards that I was telling you about. One is like sort of an outward action, like a physical thing you have to do, and then the other one might be some internal work, something like that. And you'll know where it fits when I read it to you. So we got aggression. And again, it depends on where you are in your process. For some of you, aggression is an issue. It's a problem. You're too aggressive. You're pushy. You're forceful in your approach. Some of you are not aggressive enough. You're not forceful enough. Okay? So you got to get in where you fit in right here. You got to ask yourself, am I not being forceful enough in my approach about me getting what it is that I want that's going to bring me my contentment, or this limitation situation, or both? Because really it's going together is what I'm saying. It's going together. Get a little deep for you. All right. So, and the other card is detachment. So, if limitation is an issue and you are attached to something, tethered to something, tied to something, and that could be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. It can go in any direction. It could be something where you are physically tethered. It could be that you're mentally tethered. It could be that you're emotionally tethered. Now, spiritual tetherings have to be dealt with physically. No, spiritual tetherings have to be dealt with in a physical way too. So if it is a spiritual thing and you know that, then you will know how to address it, or you will know why it exists. Yeah, that's it. So that's something to think about. Pretty deep there, Taurus. That's deep. That's some deep spiritual work and deep emotional work too. You're talking about mental repatterning here. You're talking about really digging deep into why certain paradigms exist, why you may have issues around feeling restrained or repressed, or why you may be repressing things. That's a little deep dive for you for the month of June. So if you need any help getting through, you know who to call. All right, so we've got the Deborah Kopf Chapin coming up. As I said, I really like this deck. It is not from a spiritual, it's not attached to anything spiritual or religious at all. It is purely artistic. It's purely just Deborah doing an intuitive method um, of painting, and then these images. And there's paintings and images and all kinds of. I'll put the information in the description box. But out of that comes this deck of cards. There's two sets of cards: soul cards 1, soul cards 2. It may be another one, I'm not sure. But these are great cards to work with, especially if you're dealing with emotional issues. So let me take a pause for the cause. I'll be right back, and we'll get started with your soul card reading. All right, so I'm going to pull 3 cards from the soul cards deck. 3 is usually enough just to kind of get a gauge on where you are, Taurus, right now, energetically, emotionally. The emotional health is really important. We are going to talk about work a little bit later, but I do want to make sure that we look at our emotional side, look at some little deeper, broader issues, and bring it on in. Okay. All right, so we just need a card for Taurus, actually 3 for Taurus for the month of June. 3 for June, please. I'm trying not to have them on the floor, but you know. Oh, hit the deck. They will hit the deck. They will do it. They will do it. All right, one more for Taurus. Thank you. All right, here we go. So, I've got some sheltering, some nurturing, some loving on, some mentorship. Either you needing the mentorship or somebody else, but I feel like somebody is needing your guidance or needing your watchful eye. Taurus is what I'm seeing here. This is a way for you to also nurture yourself. It's like by nurturing other people, you are nurturing yourself. It could be a child. I mean, I'm looking at a child right here, a child or youth, somebody younger than you, somebody much younger than you, I'm going to say. It has to do with helping to heal this person's, helping to heal their will to live, literally their will, okay? And I'll just take this moment to say, if there's anybody who is struggling with that, their will to live, if you're feeling like you want to check out, please stop, call 911 and get the help that you need, okay? It is an important part of your health, is your mental health. But I am feeling that that's what this is all about. I feel like you also may be helping with their heart space, but as you are helping them, you are actually healing yourself as well. This is a way for you to spread your vision. It's also a way for opening doors for yourself and opening doors for others. So that's a real significant piece there, Taurus, for you. And then I'm also seeing healing for yourself. Freedom, we were talking about that tethering before. I like to keep these cards out because they will show back up sometimes in other readings. So yeah, so in talking about this, the limitation part, for some of you it's about freeing up, it's about releasing, it's about just releasing. You just have to release and love, and release in love. Okay, you have to release in love. So like happy and joyful releasing, okay? Thankful releasing, grateful releasing, just being overly and abundantly thankful for every little thing that you have been blessed with, because I'm seeing that has been the case, that you are blessed with something very very beautiful, very beautiful. And I'm seeing that here. I'm seeing that it's coming with this You're really going to learn a lot when you get to that place. Whoever it is that you're mentoring, and you're the one who's doing the mentoring, Taurus. I'm not getting that somebody's mentoring you. If for some of you, maybe, but I'm getting that this is work that you are doing, Taurus, for others, for the world, and that is going to feed you, and that's what you're waiting for. So here's your ideas, here's your concepts, here's you with all these things kind of stirring around in your head. Now I'm going back to journaling. Journaling is a great way for you to capture this moment that you're in, but it's also for you to refer back to when you need to. You may need to refer back to this information that you're getting right now. And you are getting a lot of information. There's a lot of information that you are receiving at this time. This could be dreams or visions or concepts that you are now coming up with. Or it could be ways of elevating, so you could be elevating as well. Like you may be feeling that energy, like you need to elevate, like you need to go a little higher, like you need to be around some different people. Like these are the kind of signs when you're getting ready to elevate, or when it's time to elevate. You feel restless, you feel like you're ready to be on the move again. We're talking about what's limiting you, right? So, oh, that's the aggression. And let me not, okay, yeah. And we're talking about your contentment, what's going to make you feel content. All of this is kind of going together here. So let's check on work. Let's go to the work and move right along. All right, I am reading from the Steampunk Tarot for work. That's my go-to for work. Work, career, business ventures, entrepreneurial efforts, money, finances, anything like that. But today I'm focusing really on work and career only. Work, career, job, status, that kind of stuff, Taurus. We talked about relationships last month, so I'm focusing on something else this month. Okay. All right, so we have a Queen of Swords here, which tells me that you're in a position of authority, a position of making a decision or making decisions. You might be a decision maker at your workplace, or you could be in a situation where you need to make a decision for yourself. But there is somebody who is willing to help you along, and so that's a good thing. You should relinquish any hesitation that you have around that. It seems like this is somebody in a position of authority themselves, or somebody who knows the ropes or understands how the game is played. So go ahead and allow yourself to be divinely guided and divinely led by whoever that may be. There's some wheels turning in your head. You're seeing things, you're understanding things, you're understanding different sides of things as far as your work is concerned. Um, but there's still levels of ascension that you could be at with it, but really you are in a position to make decisions. There are people who can help you learn more about that, or there's people who can help you with that. You'll just need to reach out to them, but it's all about really setting up a structure or getting a structure together. That's what it's all about. You have to have the order, you have to have the discipline, you have to have the structure in place for what it is that you're doing. All right, we have the Ace of Wands here. The Ace of Wands tells me that you have to go get it. You know what I'm saying? This is a situation where you just got to go get it. You know? You have to take matters into your own hands. And you're going to be led. There's like steps. Again, I'm looking at steps. There's steps that you have to take in order to get where it is you're trying to go. I feel like either somebody is doing their own thing, having their own work, or they're thinking about moving up. You don't really have to move up. You just have to know something different about what it is that you're doing. I think that's what it is. But if you want to move up, fine. Either way it goes, there's some nuts and bolts things. That has been the phrase for June. Nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. I keep hearing myself say that over and over again. So I guess that's where we are right now, in the nuts and bolts phase. And I keep seeing nuts and bolts. I keep seeing them in the cards. So that's what they are. So yes, this is a learning phase for you. You're going through a learning phase where there may be somebody imparting knowledge or information onto you. You need to write that information down. There you go. Writing again for you, Taurus. Journaling has come up twice for you in this reading, so you need to be doing some journaling, Taurus. We got the Four of Cups. That's why you're disgruntled. See, you're disgruntled. This goes back to the contentment issues. It's steps that you have to take to get to what it is that you want, to your place of contentment. Again, going back to where you feel like things are limiting you. Make sure you're not limiting yourself. This is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups here is disgruntled. Disgruntled with the situation. Something is in front of you to do. Either you don't want to do it, you have your mind or your eye on a certain prize, but you may not want to do the little steps that it takes to get there, to get you to that. That's an issue that you're going to have to take up with yourself. That's about, it's really about, it's either about competition or something to that effect, but it's about ego at the end of the day. It's about an ego issue at the end of the day. It's some way that you have been encouraged to think, a way that you have been encouraged to think that is not really going to operate well for you in your new paradigm. So you're going to have to shift out of that mental paradigm and go into a different paradigm. And then there's lessons that go along with that as well. So you just have to work through it a little bit. It may be some you want to deal with your disappointment, what you're disgruntled about. You could be disgruntled about the fact that you feel these limitations. But again, what are the limitations? What is the limitation teaching you? What is it teaching you? Because everything that's happening is not necessarily on the negative, but you have to be able to work that out mentally. You got to go in and figure that out. There's somebody around you that can give you some good advice right now for yourself as far as this is concerned. It's just, I'm going to say overall, Taurus, what I'm getting from this is that this is, you're really at a position or in a position of opportunity. Like there's opportunity presented. There's an opportunity here for you, not only as far as your work is concerned, but as far as yourself is concerned. And so the building of the self, this whole business here, right, is really going to help you step up in your work. So your work and your personal are kind of tied together right now through here. You're growing emotionally, you're growing spiritually. And as you're growing emotionally and spiritually, it's also reflecting in your work, the work that the work you do. So you got to think about it differently. You got to think about where you are and what you really are truly here to do. This goes back to purpose. Personal sense of purpose. Anything else we need to know about the work situation with Taurus for the month of June? Okay, there are some changes that are going to be taking place. There's some gears turning, and in due time it will happen. You're going to have to be watchful for the time is what I'm getting. You're going to have to be watchful for the right timing is what I'm getting, right? So as the wheel turns, you're going to start to see certain things. Certain signs are there. Those are the signs that you may be familiar with or may have gone through before, that lets you know that you are going through another cycle, okay? When you realize that you are at that cycle, or that you are cycling through another phase at work, is when you'll want to be thinking more about your money and your finances. You want to have your money and your finances together, either saving money or keep conserving money. Yeah, I'm gonna say being more conservative with your money, and being, I'm gonna say frugal and savvy with how you're spending your money during that time. Okay, I don't know. But that's what I'm getting right there. That there is a turn. There is going to be a turn in the cycle. You have to be aware of that. You're watching for the timing. You're watching for the turn of the wheel. You're watching for the things that give you the sign that, okay, it's time for me to get the move on, right? And around that same time, you'll want to be watchful of your spending. You'll want to be watchful of your spending habits. You might be led to save more at that time, or reserve money at that time, or really physical resources. It could also be conserving your energy too. It could be your money, or it could be your energy too. Your physical energy. Like, I can't get into a whole lot of stuff because we're getting ready to go through a shift. I might have to peel it back and relax and that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, that energy is about, for me, it's about conserving. Okay, so looks like that's good. Looks like there's some changes taking place, but you're learning some things. And I do feel like I feel a lot of entrepreneurship around this. So this may be in relationship to somebody starting a new business, or if they're already in business for themselves for a little while, but they're getting ready to go through another cycle or another change. Again, paying attention to where the cycles are. And when it's time for the cycle to shift and change, you just get right on in there with it and get it done. That's what this is. Okay? Take the bull by the horns. You ought to know, Taurus, how to do that. All right, and speaking of bulls, let's pull some animal cards. I like to pull the animal cards to give us a sense of where we are energetically, as far as the animal kingdom is concerned. The animal kingdom can give us a good sense of what types of energies we need to bring forward in ourselves, what kind of energies are around us, and then also what kind of behaviors and what kind of habits we can adopt that will help us navigate through life better. I've been pulling this a lot. Insect energy. Insect. Now that could be any insect. We call those the creeping crawlers. Well, the creeping crawlers, they're very sharp. They're the ones with the antenna and the little eyes that can see in all directions. You ever seen a close up of a fly eye? Okay, he can see everything at one time. And he's got the antenna going, and he's close to the earth. So all of that means being sensitive to movement, sound, um, having your eyes peeled, all of that. There's a reason why, these little critters have longevity on the planet. And it's also a reason why you can't usually, catch one real quick or whatever like that. They are watching, and feeling and sensing. And so you need to pull all of those energies up. Now, on the back of the card, it says feminine power and spirituality and renewal. It's saying insects are the most plentiful beasts, consisting of more than 800,000 different species of insects. So we would have a heck of a deck if we had one for each insect. But their ability to metamorphosize and fly has led to frequent symbolic associations with the spirit world and spiritual renewal, or going through a change or a cycle of metamorphosis. And I think that that's also a very good point to make there. The praying mantis has long been associated with feminine power, and the female is larger and stronger than the male. That's the reason why. So if you're thinking about a praying mantis, why not get your prey on? But I'm going to say that the insects for me are, it's about sensing, getting your senses alert. Also, there are some insects that operate in groups, large groups. So if you are a part of a large group situation, probably at work and corporate, a corporate structure or governmental structure or something where there's lots and lots of workers, then you'll want to keep your antenna up. You never know what you may find out. All right, insect energy for Taurus. Insect energy. Are you an insect? Where do you find yourself being the insect? And what are you seeing? And what are you observing? And how are you moving? Cool. All right, we've got the wolf. Well, the wolf is the teacher. The wolf is also a pack animal. The wolf is a very powerful totem in some Native American traditions, and so you'll want to look that up, Taurus. When you go to your internet or whatever, you want to look at the different tribes and how they associate with the wolf. And then you'll also want to pay attention to the wolf behavior, pack behavior, alpha behaviors. All of that is in the wolf teachings. So, you'll also want to think about what you're learning right now, because it is considered in some traditions to be the teacher. And again, we did have the Hierophant that came up in the other tarot reading about needing to learn or needing to find a teacher. This is about your spiritual path as well. You're being led down your spiritual path by the wolf. That's what I've been told. Yep. So your spiritual journey right now involves the teachings of the wolf. So you want to know everything you can about the wolf. You better learn about the wolf, what the wolf does, what its mating habits are, what it eats, what it doesn't eat, all of that kind of stuff. You may even be having dreams about wolves, wondering why, waking up, having a nightmare about a wolf. It's not really a nightmare. It's the wolf trying to touch you, trying to get in touch with you, trying to connect with you. But yeah, you're being led down your spiritual path by the wolf. So the wolf spirit and the wolf energy, the wolf power, the wolf strength will be an important part of your spiritual journey. I can't wait to hear about that. Put your comments in the bottom if that's you. All right, and then we have birds. Oh, yeah. Woo, Taurus, Lord, you got birds. So your birds are your flight animals. That's all about the air. It's about the mind. It's also about taking flight. It's about getting your wings. No wonder we got metamorphosis energy happening here, and no wonder we've got the wolf leading your path. But I am seeing that this is a path of wisdom for you. I'm seeing the owl in here, and I'm seeing the old soul here. I'm seeing a benefit to you. It's like people coming to you. I see you giving birth to your powerful self, to your beautiful self, to your elegant self. Oh my goodness. It just goes on and on and on. I see you connecting to your moon energy. You need to connect to your moon time and your moon energy and move with the energy of the moon. It's going to get you in touch with your emotions. On the back of the card, it says soul, divinity, liberation. Untethered, right? Creativity and rebirth. Winged creatures are powerful symbols in many cultures around the globe, often representing deities or other supernatural beings. Through flight, birds symbolize liberation and link the upper and the lower worlds. That's you, Taurus. Well, that's it for you. Oh, I got one more. For you. The cat. The cat, an independent stalker. No, I hope none of you have any independent stalkers out there. But anyway, that's who the cat is. And again, that's about waking up your senses, paying attention to things. Cats very much are in tune with spirits. They either like you or they don't. And they're very keen in that regard. And it talks about independence, magic, and abundance. So that introduces some new things there for you. The cat is well known for its independent character. In the Egyptian hierarchy of beasts, it was the supreme being. The divine mother of all cats was the goddess Bast, an earth mother and deity of life and abundance. So welcome that energy in as well for the month of June. All right, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share. Share with a friend. Somebody else who may be a Taurus or somebody else who may be a something else. Share with them. I appreciate you being here as always. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have a great June. And I hope you're having a wonderful life.